Well, hello there, my name is Fansi and welcome in third part of this tutorial series where we will create some camera movement and I will show you some few camera tricks which you can apply for your great movie. Alright, so now when our scene is prepared, every animation is great, environment is great, basically everything is great, we can add some camera movement and delete this weird pink thing which I should have deleted a long time ago. My old enemy. Well, anyway, as I said, we are going to create camera movement. Well, in case that as me you don't have a camera, you will click Ctrl A, and I again forgot to have screencast on for you. So click Ctrl A and create camera if you don't have it. And now let's find it somewhere in your scene. There we are. And by clicking R and Z, or in your case probably something totally different, find it and position it so it's looking at our dear Spidey boy like this. So before you start to take shots, you should know what kind of aspect ratio you are going to use. So go here and check it out. This is basic one, full HD, which you mostly would use if you want to do it for television or any projection on computer. But if you want to do it, for example, for Instagram, you may actually reverse it, because on Instagram you just scroll and want to see post or your video for as long time as possible, which with this will be helpful, but we will leave it just like this. And another thing we will use is our viewport display back in camera setting and set composition guides to dirts. So we can use this little trick to create some nice composition. Alright, so let's preview our animation to see how that S moves. Oh, I didn't say that. Alright, so we will take that shot from here. Let's try to preview it like this. You can replace HDRI with whatever you want. So I'm not going to show you how to light this. I basically used only HDRI. This is easiest way how to light the scene. If you don't know where to find HDRI scenes like this, you can definitely check out HDRI Heaven, which is linked in the description, or you can also check a video from Flip Normals where they pretty much described how to quickly make HDRIs. That's everything with lighting. So let's do something with that camera movement. So we will start with moving camera a little bit more here and rotate it. So now from this part it should look way better. Oh yeah, something like that. And we will actually move it a little bit, because for some reason it's nothing happening. Why? We need to switch it to dope sheet and okay, that won't work. Anyway, it doesn't matter. So we will take, let's say 3 main takes which we wanna take with this camera, and for that we will need to create another area right here and set it to timeline. Alright, wonderful. Set auto animation on, auto key on with this, and about here, about 60 seconds, 60 frames, I would like to have our camera somewhere around here. Oh, come on. if you want to create a nice composition, you should position your Spider-Man or your main subject somewhere around these corners, these crossed lines, you could say. Composition is a separate subject which is very complex. I myself don't understand it well enough to explain it, but this is a little trick that will definitely help you. And for start with 0, I want to have our camera, let's say here, and a little bit further. So what about it? Oh, it's a bit too fast. So I will put it a little bit more like this. Oh yeah, look at that. Alright. So before he decided to jump, I want to let the camera stay on place for about 10 frames. So let's go for frame 70 and click Ctrl V. Before that, you of course have to click on this key and click Ctrl C. Then in about a frame 100, I would like to move camera a little bit, rotate it. Oh, come on, what is going on? Clicking Ctrl Z in my case, like this. Let's look how it looks like. Maybe I would even move this a little bit so it's synchronized with this hand. Try to always find parts of the movie that you can synchronize your animations, your moves of camera with. So let's move it here and edit that edit that movement of camera a little bit. So how does it look now? In case your movie is slow, your preview of this movie is slow, just switch to this or this. It's way easier on your system. I will use this actually. Alright. Now he jumps right there. So we have it in another cross lines. And in this point, we would like to have a camera a bit crazy, like, what the hell is going on? The Spidey boy is just going to jump just like that? What the fuck? So from here on, quick movement to the right. About kind of like this, and pretend like he's following him, kind of like it is your own camera. So let's see, let's time it a little bit better. Like if you want to move keyframes, use same shortcuts like you are using in normal scene, which means in this case I will use G. So we will actually create another frame right there. No. In our case it was something different. So let's select this key and created it and copy it. So this will be a bit slower. Still too fast for my taste. And from here, let's move it a little bit more, so we will use our quick movement in a moment where his legs are leaving the floor. And that movement will end in a moment where our Spidey boy is disappearing. So what about it? That's almost that. Let's add it a little bit more like this. So it really looks like we are just holding our phone and following this guy and trying to find him, trying to shoot him, not gonna shoot him. See that? Maybe a bit too fast actually. Yeah, that looked pretty good. Let's try to preview it from the start. You see him trying to go around him and he jumps out. So we'll follow him. That sounds great. What do you think? The problem is that we see him, but that can be quickly fixed. This head. Just pretend that you don't see it. You can always fix it with moving environment. No, just joking. You know how to fix it. So now we can do few more stuff to make it look a bit better. So I'm sorry, my Blender crashed, so I don't have that animation movement of camera which we just did, but that's not a problem. I will show you a few more tricks with camera which you can do, and then you can animate it as much as you want or do whatever you want. So let's create empty, because we will create some focus for our Spidey boy, because we want him to be in focus and everything else out of it. So let's position this empty, which I have created with Control Shift A and empty. Place it around his head. Circa, it doesn't need to be exactly. And then select our Spidey boy, click Control P and vertex. So now it should follow him. Nicely done. It follows him, which is exactly what we want. And I will actually rotate camera because it will be easier to demonstrate like this. So let's click View Render View and set our depth of field on, which is exactly what we are going to use now. On focus on object, you can set it to Spider-Man, but I actually wouldn't recommend it. I found it pretty buggy. So for that I will use our empty, which we've created. And now if you want to set how many things will be in focus and what will be out, you will work with this f-stop. And now, as you can see, our camera focus is moving with him. You can also try to play with motion blur a little bit, but I actually don't think it's a good idea. From Eevee, I didn't find any good motion. I wasn't able to create any good motion blur, but that may be for a problem on my end. So. If you will be able to create it, good for you. Also, if you don't want to move camera that much, you can increase or decrease focal length right here. That can be quite an interesting thing to play. But it also works with your depth of field, so make sure to know what you are doing, basically. So that will be for this tutorial everything. I hope you learned something. As always, I would very much appreciate if you subscribe or like this video, comment whatever you wanna see in next tutorial. There will be one more tutorial about this series where I will show you how to render everything, how to have the best render setting you ever can, of course. It will be named best Eevee setting for ever, and free everything to have a lot of use. Anyway, if you wanna see what I do normally, you can check out Instagram, because I do daily renders right now actually, which is quite exhausting, but I hope it's worth it. Once, not now, definitely. So you can see it there, and if you create something awesome here, tag me on your Instagram or anywhere and show me it, because I wanna see what you are able to create. You wonderful people. See ya.